Go ahead, my friend.
Alright. Hello again, everybody. It's Eb0nyZero, this time with a computer that's not going to overheat, hopefully. And I'm going to be doing a run of Pokemon Red Blue, 80% glitchless. I'm running it on the blue version. Red is technically like 4-ish seconds faster. But there's not too many main differences. I'm running on blue just because it's the cart that I learned on. I do have red, I just haven't memorized everything like I do for blue yet. A few small differences in RNG manipulation tactics. And then we have Stumps commentating on it. If you want to go ahead and say a little bit about what you know of the run while I make sure all my settings and my notes are ready.
Right, yeah,
Alright, so...
blue, glitchless, and
So, I'll go ahead and give a countdown and we can talk about the run as it's going on. Alright, and gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, essentially, more people run red. Just because back before the change to RTA and allowing of hard resets, you had a higher chance to encounter a Nidoran male on red than you did blue. But now with the help of RNG manipulation, it's the exact same odds as being, or not quite 100%, but...
yeah, you have to hit a different slot of the encounters on that route.
Yeah, it's kind of obnoxious on blue when you're not doing it with RNG manipulation. But with RNG manipulation, it's pretty easy. Almost guaranteed unless you get destroyed by the in-game timer. So, actually, have any incentives been met for this run? Like names or... yeah, just names? I didn't ask that.
As of right now, it does not appear so. So okay. You'll just do a vanilla run.
Sounds good.
Sweet, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it. So the beginning of this run's pretty dry. You know, you just basically play through the game casually. Up until you go to buy Pokeballs after delivering Oak's parcel.
Yeah, we picked Squirtle for the advantage against Brock, and because Squirtle can learn Surf.
Definitely makes it easier than saying picking Charmander, who has to grind to like level 12 or 13 to learn Metal Claw. I also picked up a safety potion from your PC in the very beginning of the game. Pity. Yeah, valid point there. But I picked up a safety potion from the PC just because you can die to this rival fight.
Yeah, having Squirtle makes this fight a little bit easier than the alternatives because you have Tail Whip that you can use to use defense and make your tackles do more damage.
And then, technically thanks, Gabby, I appreciate it. Technically, Tackle has a 100% accuracy rate, but there's a 1 in 256 chance of it missing, just because of bad programming. So that just happened a second ago.
Gen 1.
And we refer to that as a Gen 1 miss.
Tackle is 95% in Gen 1.
Is it?
But Scratch was 255 out of 256.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I know Horn Attack is 255 out of 256. Thrash is the same way. But I thought Tackle was as well.
Yeah, Tackle misses are...
annoying.
I once had a rival fight where I missed 6 tackles in a row.
Oh, that's just terrible. So here we actually want to get one encounter, preferably a level 2 or 3 Rattata because they have tail whip, so you don't take damage. You need the experience for after Bug Catcher, so you learn Water Gun, or else you defeat the purpose of using Squirtle. Oh, I didn't even, like, I have my splits open, but I never started them. I'm a terrible individual.
The yellow grass strats.
I only do it if I feel confident that I'm not going to get an encounter from it. You don't have a huge chance because it's only 3 patches of grass, and on a practice run I did, I got it encountered like 4 times in a row doing it, so I was like, odds are against me, so let's try it. But it's actually smarter to do that if you haven't got an encounter to that point.
Yeah.
And if you don't get an encounter doing it, it saves like 2.5-3 seconds. It's just something funny that I like to do all the time. Muscle memory.
Yeah. Also, you may notice that we have talked to Oak from the side rather than the front to reduce the number of steps that the rival needs to take on screen to come on and off for that. Because the rival moves at half the speed that you do.
So pretty much any instance
3 extra steps to save 2 of the rival steps is worth it.
So pretty much any scenario where we can make it so the rival takes, or anybody pretty much takes less steps, we do it. There's a few times where you won't do it just because you don't, because the amount of steps you have to take is so much greater. But a lot of NPCs like to walk slow. That was actually probably the best route one I've had in weeks.
Yep, only the necessary encounter.
I'm actually going to buy a second Pokeball now that I think about it, in case I mess up early or later on. Alright, so this is the first difference between red and blue. This is the location we do the RNG manipulation for this at. And the only way RNG manipulation works is to hard reset the console to put it on a specific seed. The fully glitched one, the world record is just under 12 minutes right now. It's 11:58, and it's either a 2 or a 3-way tie. And you'll notice here that we take a very specific path. Walking in this manner is what gives us... I think I might have messed that up. I think I hit the wall. Nope. Walking in that manner is what gives us this guaranteed encounter. And all I did there was buffered inputs. So during transition scenes and cries, you are capable in this run, in Gen 1 and 2, to buffer your inputs so they occur first possible frame. The glitch run used to fight Missingo, but it doesn't anymore. Up and A is actually annoying for me, so I do up and right. Almost any direction works for it. I used to do up and A, and then I started running into issues when I started using console because I use the D-pad. And as you can see by some of my movement here, my thumbs don't fit very well on the D-pad. That's bad.
Oh.
I think I'm just gonna reset that and go back to the RNG manip. Yeah, the D-pad is extraordinarily small, so my hands like to slip off of it from time to time. Luckily, that's only like a minute. Not a big deal.
Is it the GameCube D-pad?
Yeah. I used to use emulator.
I've had my share of trouble with that.
Back when I ran on
Yeah.
emulator, I used Xbox controller, so the D-pad was much larger. And you'll see there that I did a slightly different movement. For this particular manip, it doesn't matter too much the exact path. It just matters the amount of steps you take and the A press you do. Yeah, I'm using Game Boy Player. So that stutter right there that I did was actually me switching to the joystick. Because while it's not as accurate or quick to switch directions, I'm not going to slide out of place on it.
Now, for this part of the Viridian Forest, very specific path through the grass, and that is because, like we're walking through now, where the bottom right subtile is that smushed one, it is actually not possible for those tiles to generate encounters.
So if you get unlucky, you'll have one encounter, maybe two, throughout the entire Viridian Forest.
Last section of grass, there are none of the encounter-free tiles. And the ones that you duck into to avoid the first bug catcher are also can have encounters, and there are a few along the way that also are. But most of them, the tiles we walk across, actually can't.
Yeah, through RNG Manip you can prevent encounters, and you'll actually see that in probably about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how this part of the run goes. Didn't even have to use my antidote this fight. Oh, I crit, so he lived on one.
Yeah, the Gen 1 crit mechanics are slightly weird in that they ignore... So the tail whips that would be causing the Weedle to take double damage are instead replaced by a doubling of the level in the damage formula, which does not quite double the damage. As a result, the crit did less damage than a non-crit would. Also, because of that extra experience from the Rattata encounter on Route 1, directly from level 6 to level 8 there, and learned Bubble. The extra XP was needed for that.
And you'll notice that we switched Nidoran to the front of the party. That's because in the very beginning of the run, before I actually started the game, I left shift strats on, so that way, after the battle, or after defeating an opponent, I can switch Pokemon. So what I'm going to do, this is the easiest way to level up Nidoran to an acceptable level to be able to become our new main. So you notice here that we send out A, and then instantly switch to Squirtle.
Yeah, everything's nicknamed one character because each time the name comes up in text, it would take 1 frame per character. Really adds up.
I think if you use the max 10 characters, you lose probably almost a minute throughout the entire run with fast text on. And now here we need Onyx to Screech. Or tackle. Tackle works too. Okay, well that's scary. If I get the speed drop, then we're gonna be okay. As long as he doesn't crit. Oh, bide. There we go. Brock will be down after this battle, after this hit.
Yeah, Bide was good to see there, but it is not the move that you want to see earlier in that.
If he bides on the first turn, then you have to delay by using Tail Whip twice, so that way you don't take damage and die. Tackle does 6 damage, 13 with a crit, or 10, one of the two. It depends on the range of the roll. And ideally he'll bide on the second turn if you have a high special, or a high attack, so you can kill him with Bubble on turn 2, or your turn 2. Luckily, he didn't kill us with Tackle. Because while we do have another Pokemon, he wasn't very strong at the time.
And he also lacks moves that would do very much damage against an Onix.
True.
So that fight got the Nidoran up to level 8, and that's enough for it to learn Horn Attack. And, well, now it's strong enough to fend for itself, and it's our main from now on.
This is the easiest fight, or one of the easiest fights you'll ever do before your evolutions. The next fight happens to be one of the hardest ones. So I will be saving before that fight, because I have lost runs to that fight a few times.
Yeah, Short's Kid is unforgiving.
He's the most notorious NPC in all of Pokemon, though. Because who doesn't like shorts? They feel comfy.
Yeah, and since they're easier to wear, he can focus more on how he's doing in the battle, and yeah, that's not good for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. His shorts are so comfortable, he can focus on the battle. Anytime you see me open my bag like that, it's because I'm trying to buffer my inputs again. But I'm a few frames early on when I'm switching move or pressing A. There is a strat where you can get him to put you into red bar, and you fight the rest of this route on red bar, which we'll get
Even
into
Short's
later.
Kid?
Yes. And
Wow.
it saves a lot of time over the course of the split. Oh, I didn't save, but that's fine. I shouldn't die. I'm heal. I'm full life, and I have tons of potions. But it's a little bit scary sometimes. Tail Whip. You never want to see a Tail Whip. Or a crit.
Yeah, you especially don't want to see that Tail Whip first.
Yeah, Tail Whip first is bad. He now does 14 damage, 12 to 14 damage with a quick attack, and now he does, I think it's 15 to 18. So theoretically speaking, I could have died there. And now Ekans will do, I think, 6 damage with Wrap. So all I want Ekans to do is spam Leer. Because Wrap locks you up for turns like this. Okay, so he only does 5. He'll do 8 with a crit.
The nice thing about that Tail Whip on the turn before the Rattata died is it gives you another badge boost. I guess I should probably mention that. The badges give in-battle boosts to, and the Boulder badge gives a boost to the attack stat. However, there is a bug in how the game applies it. Time one of your other stats changes, the boost gets applied again. Tail Whip that lowered Nidoran's defense caused the multiplier to attack, which is 9/8 to be applied again. And that caused each attack to do a little bit more damage.
It's why you'll notice that I avoid specific trainers because I don't want to level up at specific times. Because there are circumstances where you'll lose your badge boost. And there are circumstances where you're trying to get it back, or you're trying to increase it by this, that, or the other. So each trainer and everything we fight is all calculated out down to a T.
Yeah, badge boosts go away if the stat itself playing up would do that. And then it would properly only apply the one.
If we get lucky here, oh, that's a 2-shot Metapod.
Nice.
That Metapod is generally 3 shots, and if you get string attacked by that Caterpie a few too many times, that Metapod is faster than you, so you can spam Harden, and you'll just keep doing less and less damage every time. But if you get lucky, you can crit him or you'll speed tie him, so when he uses Harden, you can have a chance to beat him.
Yeah, you may have noticed here that we're talking to the trainers from the side rather than walking in front of them, and that is because talking to them directly is faster. The animation of the trainer seeing you, especially if the trainer then has to walk up to you, is a lot longer than you might feel that it is.
And there's one occasion where I'm going to ignore the rule of talking to the trainer is more efficient, and that is actually in the section coming up, solely because the path that I take sets me up better for another RNG manip to happen. Now, somewhere along this path and the next, we need to find a flyer. And we did. Very high encounter rate here.
Yeah, 90% of the encounters in this grass are flying Pokemon. The other 10% are Jigglypuff.
And I have seen runs get 7 or 8 Jigglypuffs in a row, so ignore the fact that these numbers sound like they're in our favor. You never want to assume that you're going to get lucky in Pokemon speedrunning. This is actually not a bad Route 3, other than the fact that I had to reset after Niddo.
Yeah, that luck thing especially applies in marathon settings, because that time when I got those 6 tackle misses, that was in at a live event at a con.
Oh yeah. That always happens. Marathon luck is a thing, but it's not good for Pokemon runners. So something about the not future, but the newer versions of this game, Fire Red, Leaf Green, for example, you have repels at this point, which makes Mount Moon a blast. But in the originals, we do not have repels. So we are stuck with encounters throughout the entire thing until we start our Manip. If that's the one encounter we get, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, we can't do the Manip until until there's a sufficiently long window between trainer battles coming up, because sort of interrupts.
Theoretically speaking, you can
the
Manip through
aggression.
Manip through it. It's just we don't currently have anything to control, and you'd have to play almost frame perfectly throughout the entire time to continue controlling the RNG.
Yeah, the RNG in this game advances every frame, as well as every time something uses it.
That fight right there is a range. It's not a worrisome fight or anything like that, because Voltorb doesn't deal that much damage to us if you miss the range. But it's still nice to hit ranges. It saves a turn.
Ooh, top floor Clefairy.
Yeah. marathon luck like we were talking about earlier. Out of every encounter that I've ever gotten in Moon, I've only ever seen a top floor Zubat, I'm pretty positive. Because obviously, as everybody knows, Zubat has the highest encounter rate in Mount Moon. I went one step too high. So I'm gonna have to make a slight adjustment. We're about to start the Manip here in a few moments. We just need to defeat this last.
Yeah, there's a rather long way between this trainer and the next one we have to fight. So this is where we do the Manip, and this in red and blue.
This Manip is also ever so slightly different in blue than red. In red, you actually do what's called palette Manip, which is where you change the color scheme of the game. On the bio screen, you hold a direction on your D-pad or joystick, however you want to play it, and you actually change the color scheme. In blue, we don't need to do that.
And while we were talking about that, Nidoran evolved into Nidorino. It is going to spend a very short time as a Nidorino.
You will never see this Pokemon battle.
In addition to the RNG advancing every frame, its advancing is based on a continuously changing hardware register, and that's why the Manip requires hard resetting.
And after this Manip, we're pretty much Manip free for another 20 or so minutes. And then eventually, we get down to the final Manip of the run at around the 50-minute mark. Depending on how well I play. Here's a major difference in I did lie. You are gonna see one battle just because I'm playing blue. In blue, this Manip has a 17 and 6, or yeah, 47 out of 67, or 47 out of 60, I apologize, success rate. So, by horn attacking there, I actually made it so that that was almost a guaranteed catch. I believe it puts it to 95%. Because I don't want that 17 out of 60 to hit me and make me fail the Manip randomly. But now we've already evolved to our final form. And Nidoking will be the savior that this run deserves. And the main reason we use Nidoking is because he learns a great moveset. He's very powerful, like his base stats are extremely high for a Pokemon you can find so early in the run. And it just... oh, that crit saved a turn. Maybe two. But it just makes the overall run a lot easier. You can run with Squirtle or Charmander if you really wanted to, but it's a lot more difficult and a lot more reset heavy.
Yeah. Stab Earthquake is a wonderful thing.
It definitely is. Nidoking is also a ground poison type, so he's resistant to a good bit of moves, other than like Psychic, which absolutely demolishes him. And he gets Earthquake later on in the run, which makes it extremely easy to clear, considering, you know, he's got a high power and it's stab. He also learns, I'm actually not going to get to the one move that Really makes this run kind of humorous. Never missing a 30% accuracy move.
Yeah.
That'll just be a surprise later on. For anybody who's never seen a
we'll get
Pokemon
to
run.
that when we get to it.
Only 2 true champs pick the Helix Fossil. You can pick the other fossil if you want, it's just slower.
Yeah, there's that factor of NPC movement again. Because
Well, not
the
only that,
NPC
you also
would
have to
take an
walk
extra
further.
step.
It's like a silly extra step, and then the NPC has to move 2 steps around you. But I've seen a few people do it. Just because it's a little bit funny. Because like even in notes, like the beginner guide notes that you can find on speedrun.com, it tells you to pick the Helix Fossil, even though it doesn't matter which one you have. Oh, I hit B. It was actually a pretty decent moon.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it was.
It might have almost tied my gold, because I think my gold has 1 encounter moon, and that one had 2. But I also didn't save any turns on fights like I did in that one. And I missed every range. This fight that's coming up now, it's the next rival fight, it can theoretically be scary, but because we have Squirtle, Pidgey, and Paris, it's not too big of an issue. I think that's a 25% chance that Pidgeot sand attacks you, which is really bad, and loses Pidgeotto, my bad. Pidgeot's the final evolution. Pidgeotto sand attacks you, and that's kind of bad. It drops your accuracy and you don't want to miss. Gust is good. If I crit again, he's dead. Alright, so we're safe on this.
Nice.
No sand attack. Which means the rest of this fight's a joke. It's literally just horn attacks pretty much the entire time. I mean, I don't remember the exact percentage that he'll use sand attack, but I know you can get screwed over and he can use it 4 or 5 times in a single fight.
Yeah, now here we use Poison Sting to finish off the Rattata because it has a faster animation. Shaking is faster than the flashing animation.
Ooh, nice crit. And also, during this route, you can get sand attacked also later on, and you don't want to miss out on a bunch of horn attacks. Because for a majority of Nugget Bridge, horn attack is your go-to move. I'm really hoping to show off Red Bar here pretty soon. And just how ridiculous it can be. Wow. So maybe Marathon Luck is on my side today. Because I saved a turn on Caterpie as well. And got the range, or got a crit on Weedle, so it was a guaranteed kill.
Nice.
Normally you spend 3 or 4 turns on that fight because Caterpie is normally 2 turn and Weedle is a possible range. We can get sand attacked here as well. Or we can crit Pidgey. So pretty much we're required to go up Nugget Bridge. We need to go talk to Bill. We could theoretically go fight Misty right now, but we're not high enough level, and Misty would absolutely destroy us. No questions about it. And then,
Yeah, one of the things about our typing is that we are weak to water.
yeah, it's a pretty big downside for this gym in particular. Although being part ground type makes Surge's gym pretty fun. Got the range on Ekans. We also need to talk to Bill so we can get on the SS Anne, which is a required portion of the game. Again, we can get sand attacked here. Although I'll take quick attack. Into a red bar.
Yeah, that sound from being the slow causes the game not to wait for cries or jingles to play.
So it saves a good chunk of time. The reason I healed there is because there is a chance that this guy can kill you. He has a Mankey who knows low kick, which if criticals does 15 damage. And I had 8 HP, something like that. So, or you know, that was RNG manip. I was guaranteeing the crit there. And here we're getting rid of tackle for a very risky but strong move, Thrash, which is
Yeah, in typical trainer battles in this area of the game, Thrash is pretty much completely broken.
it is guaranteed 3 turns to hit in a row, and it has a high base damage to it.
The downside is that you're confused afterwards, but generally the trainers do not have enough Pokemon for this to be an issue.
And then there is a chance that you can get a 4th turn on it, but that's relying on RNG, which here in a moment we will be doing. Very strong Nugget Bridge there, with all those crits making things 1 turn. Alright, so this is the first fight where we actually have to worry about the 4-turn Thrash and or getting confused. He only has 2 Pokemon, but his second Pokemon is a Geodude who knows Defense Curl.
And not only that, but Geodude is, well, being rock type, normal attacks are not very effective, so there's turns anyway, unless a crit happens like you just saw.
Yeah, I mean, you get pretty lucky every now and then, and you don't have to worry about Thrash making you get confused. So for the most part, for a little while we're going to be relying on Thrash. It deals a lot of damage, guaranteed 3 turns. Pretty much just a great sweeping move for virtually any trainer in the game, if you were, say, high enough leveled, because most in-game trainers don't have more than 2 or 3 Pokemon. And here, you can fight one of these guys, whichever one you choose, based on how close you walk to each one of them. We choose this guy. He has 2 very easy Pokemon to knock out. The other guy has an Onix. And this time we don't have a water move to take him on. So even with Thrash, there would be no way for us to guarantee his death. Considering he could bind our Thrash and probably survive, I'm not exactly sure if he would or not.
Older routes would often get the Water Gun TM in Mount Moon and teach it to Nidorino. And then we would fight a different hiker earlier on this route that has an Onix, and well, it being ×4 weak to water would be easily one-shot. But that TM is not something that we do anymore.
No, we don't. Theoretically, you could still pick it up, but you would just be removing Water Gun shortly after anyways. Because after you beat Misty, you get Bubble Beam. Which is absolutely a fantastic TM when it comes to water moves. And this is Bill, the Pokemon. Reheated
Yellow
pizza
Elixir?
is fantastic, Cheddar. Right, during this little sequence, I'm gonna take the jacket off. I'm starting to burn up in my room over here. Whew. Sorry about hitting my desk. I don't know if that picked up on the mic. And now you'll see, oops, went too far. The escape rope we picked up in Mount Moon, that wasn't even out of the way at all. Saves us time because we just come back to the Pokemon Center. Although, this is a marathon, so I'm going to potion before Misty and get myself above 75 HP. Three-hour delivery.
Red and blue determine whether you're allowed to use an escape rope from somewhere by what graphical tile set it is. The one that's used inside Bill's house is one that's on that allowed list. So that's why we're able to escape rope from there. An escape rope actually was next to the Moonstone at the time that we were using that to evolve Nidorino into Nidoking. I've seen some runs end from not making it quite far enough down the menu when it is time to do the evolution.
Alright, so Misty is potentially terrifying, even with full HP. Starmie, or Staryu, is a guaranteed one-shot with Thrash. Starmie, on the other hand, can confuse us, or Bubble Beam crit, which is why we healed to full there, because the Bubble Beam crit will not kill us, it'll just get us really low on HP. But if we get confused, X-Defend, Water Gun, that's fine. Alright, so this fight is okay. I've lost far too many runs to count there. She can Bubble Beam crit you, you can get confused. She can X-Defend. It's why marathons and races it's recommended to heal to full prior to fighting Misty, and save. And pre-manip, it was definitely encouraged to save before Misty. Solely based on, what am I? Getting, say, a bad speed stat so Misty would outspeed you.
Yeah, Misty has always been one of the largest in the run. Although, here past Misty, there are many fights that have that have too much of a chance to kill you until very late in the run.
Until you get put to sleep by Drowsy because you missed Thrash.
This is an example of a Gen 1 miss.
And put to sleep again because they disabled Thrash while you were in the middle of a Thrash.
Oh.
This run just got really bad. Because I'm still trying to Thrash, so I can't heal. Is this I think I'm dead here.
I think you... Ah, there we go.
But my Thrash is still disabled. I'm pretty sure I'm dead here. I've never seen this.
You are locked
There
into
we go.
Thrash until it's no longer disabled.
3 HP. Jesus, that was
Does
easily...
this mean we might be seeing full restore strats?
Maybe. I still got a lot of potions, but jeez. If Marathon luck continues...
My.
I don't think I've ever seen that fight go like that before. Holy cow.
Well, a Gen 1 miss.
I think that's going on the PSR Discord. I'm gonna go back through and clip that entire fight. Oh, why did I do that? Oh my. GameCube D-pad, please. So right there, you saw text pop up and I cleared it away. That's a full restore, it's hidden on the map. If you pick it up and clear it before the jingle has a chance to play, and the jingle can only play once the area music has started. I have to heal here because quick attack. But you can only hear the jingle once the area music has started playing. So if you can clear the text fast enough, you skip the jingle. It's like 3 seconds of time save.
Yeah, the jingle gets cancelled by the end of the fade out of the previous room's music. If your name is short enough, the text gets to that point before the fade out finishes.
You know, even if I died there, it wouldn't be an overheated computer because I saved before Misty. So that would only set us back 2 or 3 minutes. After my 1.5-ish setback earlier. Making Estimate a little bit harder to hit. See, this is one of the fights where it's not worth going around and talking to him, because you'd have to walk through the grass and walk around the girl just to talk to him, and then you'd have to walk around him again. So it's just quicker to let him see you.
This fight with the 3 Pidgeys, I've died to that by Gen 1 missing Thrash and getting sound attacked.
I could see that happening. I've had it happen once or twice. Alright, theoretically speaking, if this was a regular run, I would not heal this, because this HP is almost perfect to set up a red bar for a very long segment of the run. But this is a marathon, and I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the run. So once we get into SSN, I'm gonna do, it's not really a trick, but it's something that saves literally a frame. It's kind of funny to do it. So what you do is I literally saved 1 frame that my character would be turning because I buffered my left input when I unpaused the game. It literally doesn't even save enough time to notice, but you can only do it if you have to menu anyways, and it's kind of funny. Oh, come on. GameCube D-pad, please.
Yeah, normally this fight would be initiated one tile to the right of here, because the trade-off of your steps versus the rival steps is favorable.
But you know, GameCube D-pad. I made a mistake. And because we have Bubble Beam here, we just use it against Raticate. It does a little bit more damage. It saves Horn attacks. It still deals 2 turns like Horn attack would. And it's faster animations.
Yeah, the Rattata family, that good of special.
What was that?
So that's that helps Bubble Beam and similar attacks do a little bit more.
Yeah. We haven't actually gotten unlucky when it comes to a rival fight yet. We haven't been sand attacked at all this run, actually. Also, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a jingle that plays after cut.
Yeah, there is. Having a short enough name prevents that from playing.
It makes it nifty. Cute little time saves here and there, you know? Right, and now we get the most exciting moment of the entire run. Watching the SSN leave.
This is pretty much the only time during the run when you do not have to be executing input.
Which means it's the perfect chance to pee, you know? As long as you got your pee bottle. Because it's not enough time to go to the bathroom. Alright, now we're about to start the final manip of the entire run. And it is literally... It's a silly manip, but it saves a lot of time in the long run. Messed up my menu there. So this manip guarantees what cans will have the electronic switch for Surge in it. As long as I don't mess it up. And this is also slightly slower than red version.
Trash can puzzle is...
Oh. Okay. The secondary movement doesn't matter as much there, but...
Yeah, the trash can puzzle is, weird.
It's a terrible puzzle, and it should never have been created.
So very poorly implemented, because, in the way that this can or cannot be the first or the second one. To the point that looking through the code makes you wonder what they were...
It's not likely to die to Surge. It's not, you know, very likely that he Sonic Booms you, but why didn't heal? I don't think this works anymore. I'm pretty sure I messed up the manip. If I messed this manip up, then I just lost like a minute. Yeah. I just lost like a minute overall from that, or 2 minutes overall from dying to Surge and then screwing up the manip because I thought I heard the jingle. That's gone. Oh.
Yeah, the manip for this only has to. Oh,
That doesn't make any sense. But hey, you know what?
yeah, the manip only has to be. It has to be perfect up to the point that you step into the door, because that's when it's generated.
That's not gonna work. I keep making little mistakes here. Maybe it does.
Actually doing the puzzle.
You know what? I'll take it. Well, now I'm out of potions, which is actually slightly problematic in the long run. Because now I have one item less than I need. Which means I'm gonna have to shell out a little bit of extra money somewhere. Try to buy something super cheap. Item management in this game is relatively important.
You could grab the max ether after Rock Tunnel.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I keep forgetting that exists there. There was actually a run where I needed it. See, that's what Tackle is the most likely move Voltorb uses, and he would have just put me down to 15 HP. Which would have actually been ideal, because I would be in red bar at that point. So we could save time over this battle overall. Buy a Master Ball? You're right, I should probably do that. I'm gonna go catch Mewtwo after this run.
Now, one thing about the Thunder Badge is that despite this dialogue mentioning that it increases your speed, and despite the game's documentation mentioning that it increases your speed, it actually increases your defense.
Which is the most humorous thing I've ever seen. When I first heard about badge boosts, I was like, oh look, Surge actually tells you what his boosts. Nope.
Yeah, there are so many in which the battle system is broken, especially as relates to badge boosts. The existence of badge boost stacking are merely two of them.
The menu after that dialogue is always the hardest one for me. And the reason we dig out is because it brings us right back to Cerulean, where we can go pick up the bike.
Yeah, the use of Pokemon centers in the run is affected not just by when you need healing, but also where convenient warp destinations would be. In Gen 1, using a warping move or item takes you back to the last Pokemon Center you used.
And see, I taught Thunderbolt before using Repel, because when you use the last of an item in your inventory, it sends you back to the top of your inventory, and I put Repels on slot 1.
Yeah, the route, a lot of little optimizations related to inventory management.
There's a few moves.
Yeah, one of them is using the last of an item at a time when the next item you would use is going to be at the top because of the reset of where your cursor is. And another is... Before I continue, this is a fight where you use Thresh and hope that you get the 50-50 chance that
yeah, you pray to RNGesus
extends
this
from
entire
turn.
fight for 4-turn Thrash. There we go. But you can get put to sleep in this battle, and you have to waste your full restore.
One of the other larger aspects of we don't really see this until a couple more gyms into the future. Try to have a full inventory for gym leader fights, because then when they try to give you their TM, and the dialogue for that is a lot shorter than it and being told all about it.
Yeah, instead of saying, "Oh look, I'm gonna give you TM24, it's Thunderbolt, it's super effective. It'll be great to add to your to teach your Pokemon." Oh, I messed up. I wasn't supposed to repel there. This is bad. I keep making silly little mistakes. Because there's several menus and this is the first time you're supposed to use a repel. So we're gonna go about 100 steps, YOLOing Rock Tunnel. But at this point in the game, Nidoking is so overpowered, almost everything is a one-shot.
Yeah, if this were not a marathon, we would probably be trying to get Red Bar off of that Cubone.
Most definitely. It saves a crazy amount of time over the course of this run. I wouldn't say Bonktown, USA. I have a vast majority of this tunnel memorized. There's a few times where I'll bonk because I can't quite see my character. You also may notice me hesitate to use a move. It's because I buffer most of my inputs, and sometimes it eats your buffered input, and it could be potentially problematic to have that happen.
Yeah, this is especially a potential issue when you're using your third move, because it takes 2 menu inputs to get to it.
Oh, okay, cool. Did not get paralyzed here. Getting paralyzed here makes you waste your full restore, which is a huge issue. There's actually a white shutter, I don't know if you know this or not, but the ROM we use for bingos, for Crystal, which you've probably seen on the internet, counts how many bonks you've done. Another property of Gen 1, you can use repels before your final repel wears off. So you save a little bit of text there.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about that is that it makes it a little bit easy to accidentally waste repels.
Or you can do what I did.
If you don't get menu input right.
Fully waste a repel. Which is why we're going to YOLO a lot of steps.
It's going to run out very soon. Deal with encounters for a little bit.
Although this will still beat my gold because I got put to sleep in my gold on my splits, and
Ooh.
I hit an optional that I missed this time. This will be the first rock tunnel I've ever gone through without hitting a very specific optional.
That hiker with the Geodudes and the Graveler, that's another fight you really, really do not want to Gen 1 miss in. And that is because, especially with the Graveler, because they know self-destruct.
I spoke too soon. I hit an optional, one I've never hit before. So I'm gonna have to guess on some of these attacks here. Maybe it'll be funny and put me into red bar. Yeah, that is the great thing about Gen 1, you never have to worry about sturdy.
Yeah, something a common thing that I've seen in one runs is is people not realizing that become a thing yet, and being a little bit mystified until also Magnemite's lack of steel typing.
Yeah. Magnemite's not a steel. The main part that I need in my notes is actually coming up, and that's the shopping trip. There's a lot of shopping you have to do here in a few, very shortly.
Yeah, it's a very involved shopping trip. Although not quite as involved as Remanip, because then you had to know different possibilities for how to handle what your stats were and what extra items you might need or not need to deal with that.
Normally I would get the text saying my repel wore off just before passing that Pokemon Center. Now we take the underground path here because it's the only efficient way to get to Celadon City as of now. And I spend a lot of time hitting the A button because I can't remember where the elixir is here. In fact, I missed it. I've actually lost a lot of time to not remembering where this is in the past. There it is. I don't know how other runners have it memorized. I just kind of guess, and I've gotten it right a few times first try.
Yeah, I've heard of some runners using the music and some using the bike animation and counting the number of cycles of it.
Oh, that would require me to wear my glasses. Oh, there's a wall there.
Yeah, that NPC to the right, she moves randomly up and down, and if she moves up, it's possible for her to block you from getting to the upstairs. Please remember which way she went to get blocked on your way over to the upstairs after doing this bit of shopping.
And it's really frustrating when it happens. And now we're about to buy the best item in the entire game.
Oh, yes.
Does everybody keep in mind...
Not quite the best. We'll be seeing that item very soon.
Yeah. But, does everybody keep in mind, this is a glitchless speedrun. I will not use any glitches, I promise. Oh, you suck. We actually never see the Master Ball in this game, or in the speedrun.
Yeah.
The only speedrun that you do see it in is
Ice Beam is not a thing anymore?
No, it is not.
Sorry, I haven't really... It's been a little bit since I actually did this, so that's a point that I... Oh.
But the only speedrun you see Master Ball see any usage is reverse badge acquisition and gotta catch them all.
Yeah, and even then, neither of those get the Master Ball in the intended way.
Yeah.
They don't.
You just underflow everything in that run. I actually don't know. Come on. If it's faster to walk or bike here, but I bike. I like the bike music.
Yeah, I'd always heard that this one is just on the line of being faster to not bike.
Well, that could very well be the case. Super repels. This is another one that I have to remember a lot of because there's a lot of stuff that go on in this menu.
Yeah, this is probably the single most complicated menu the entire run. A lot of rearranging and in certain orders to minimize the amount of scrolling that you do.
Yeah. And the fly menu is the hardest thing to move yourself through, in my opinion. Because it's not, you can't just rapidly tap the button and go 3 times like I needed to there. There's actually like a delay between when you can hit the button again. This battle is actually really easy. It's probably the easiest rival fight. Which is why I didn't heal beforehand or anything like that. Your HP going into this doesn't matter as long as you have more than 12. Yep, Raticate is dead. Oh, that's bad. I might die. I'm dead. I say it's the easiest, then I mess it up. And I'm not going to reset because that would put me all the way back to Misty, so I'm just going to wipe here. Then I'll come back. Teleport.
Yeah, this is going to result in a halving of money, but there's only one further thing that we have to spend money on in the run.
Now time for Paris. Get him! I'm trying to die here because, or else I'd use Dig if I was just trying to mess around. I'm just trying to die as fast as possible.
Yeah, Dig might actually have done a good amount of damage there.
Yeah, it would have been an issue because then Paris could, if by some grace of God Paris defeated Kadabra there, he would have leveled up a lot, and then we would be sitting there still. Whereas instead, I'll just go back.
And we would be missing experience on Nidoking.
Yeah, but now we'll have extra experience on Nidoking, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not necessarily a good thing either.
Yeah, the extra experience could throw off some badge boost routing, and especially in later parts of the run.
It probably will, because it's a lot of experience here. And there's no, I don't think there's any experience I can skip. Alright, let's not mess that up this time. There we go. Much better. Now we're set.
Yeah, the psychic types generally have pitiful defense. So use those the moves that we do against them. Ooh, this is gonna throw off repel routing too.
Yeah, it is. I'm just gonna suffer encounters through this area. It's better than destroying the repels that I have later on in the game. As you can tell by the issues we've had so far with me making small mistakes, they definitely add up and cost a lot of time. I'm probably gonna get 5 to 7 encounters in here, is my guess. And getting encounters through a ghost is actually worse than regular encounters because there's 2 text boxes prior to being able to try to escape the battle.
Do we have time for a donation? Evident.
I'd say we do.
Alright. We had a anonymous $4.04 donation earlier. No message, just wanted to say we had one really. Appreciate the donation. Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks.
I didn't hear him. Another hidden item that we've picked up. There's a surprisingly high amount of hidden items in Pokemon games. Gengar is in Gen 1, but you can only obtain him through trade. And I don't believe there are any in Pokemon Tower.
There are not.
I'm pretty sure it's just Ghastlies and maybe a very low encounter rate Haunter.
Plus
Yeah,
Cubone.
Oh yeah,
Cubone.
Cubone.
Hunters and Cubones.
Gengar is only possible through trade, which you could do through link cables back in the old days. I would actually like to see like you manip a perfect Gengar and use him just because of his high special, but he would get walled by a lot of different things. And this will be the end of Rock Slide for us. We literally got Rock Slide just for these Ghastly that we have to fight.
Yeah, we use it because it's a it's a physical move with nice damage that's not normal type.
But it can miss, and if you are trying to get a good time and you're doing, say, Pokemon Tower and Red Bar, you can die. For the best item in the game. So that's actually controversial for a lot of people. They hate the fact that we use the Pokédoll there. But it serves its purpose. That in Gen 1, the purpose of the Pokédoll was to end any battle. It works in Gen 2 as well. Same way.
Yep, the item did accomplish its stated purpose, and what the event scripting does about it is does about it.
But that is hands down the most controversial thing that we do in Glitchless.
Yeah, that's not allowed in the
Japanese rule set. Neither is RNG manipulation either. For them, they have to do everything single segment. Or not single segment, but they cannot hard reset their console.
Oh, what I was saying before about the drawbacks of Rock Slide, one of the main one is that it's only 90%. Since you normally would be rather low on HP in the first couple fights in Pokemon Tower, easily result in death.
Now, for the most part, a lot of this is super simple to do, or really simple play. There's not much left to collectathon that is Pokemon. It's about to pick up pace, really, after we go through Sylph Company and fight Giovanni for the first time. Sylphco is pretty interesting, but it's not the most interesting part of the run. It's just a lot of movement. But then we go on a gym leader fighting spree. Whereas we only have 3 badges now, we pick up the other 7, other 7, yeah, there's 10 badges apparently. Where we have 3 now, we pick up the other 5.
Well, I mean, Gary got 10 in the anime.
That is true, and none of them match anything. I didn't do that. None of them match any of the other Kanto badges.
Well, some of them are.
Some of them, like 1 or 2. Yo, thanks, C-Mistake. Appreciate the good luck, dude.
Water Badge and Cascade Badge are on there, but I think there was one more, but I don't remember which one.
I honestly don't remember. It's been way too long since I've even watched the anime. Or at least the beginning of the anime. I've seen bits of pieces of the new one, but that's pretty much it. Well, I already realized I made a mistake. I don't think I can dig out of here. I'm gonna have to take, no I can. So you're supposed to go into the center of Celadon first and heal, because you don't have enough, I make that mistake a lot, actually, and it's killed a few of my runs. But this is us setting a new warp point, and I just lost like a minute on it. To being silly. And forgetful.
Yeah, especially with especially in the phase of getting the remaining badges, Celadon and the warp to it.
Celadon is just a
home
great
base.
hub. Alright, now we can go back through Sylphco and retrace our steps. Which I'm actually going to use the joystick for because the D-pad sucks. I already picked up that elixir, so let's not be silly and grab the tree. Now this rocket is potentially frightening. He can paralyze you, which again is something that's going to make you waste a full restore. He leered instead. So as a kid, I don't know anybody else, but I pretty much went through every room in Stealth Company. But during the speed run, you go to floor 5, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Everything else is laid out for you. This is another case of rival movement versus your movement. You take the one step up so he goes straight instead of walking around you.
Yeah, this is a particularly big example of that because the rival having to walk around you to get into that warp is 3 rather than just 2. Taking 2 extra steps yourself to save 6 rival steps is very much worth it. Here we see the impact of the one most broken item in this game. X accuracy.
In combination with a one-hit KO move such as Horn Drill, Fissure, X accuracy makes it so you are pretty much unkillable. With the case of Horn Drill, the only requirement for it to hit is, other than the accuracy check, is you must be faster than the Pokemon you're using it against. So by using an X speed and an X accuracy in Gen 1, X accuracy ignores all accuracy checks. So it makes Horn Drill go from its low percentage accuracy to a 100% accurate move that you will never miss.
Yeah, X accuracy completely removes the accuracy check. You can't even Gen 1 miss.
So by doing this, it makes breezing through pretty much everything Now you don't need the Horn Drill here. It's faster by a good bit, and you don't, no chance of getting put to sleep. And we don't need the Horn Drills for anytime soon. And I believe with Bubble Beam Marowak is not a one-hit KO. But maybe with my extra level I am. Or not extra level, but like extra 600 experience.
Yeah, on the X accuracy turn, Cubone used focus energy. That brings up another bug in Gen 1's battle system, which is that focus energy quarters your crit chance rather than quadrupling it.
Exactly. We did mention it earlier. So a Gen 1 miss, yeah, it's a 1 in 255 chance to miss.
Oh, 1 in 256.
1 in 256. What was this?
This applies to every move except Swift and Bide. Because those skip the accuracy check, just like using an X accuracy would.
But it only does that for the move specifically, unfortunately. Or we might actually see, Swift on a Pokemon and be useful. Could you imagine that? If there was a way that we could get Swift's accuracy check to last for, like, say, an entire battle.
That would be interesting.
You would never have to buy an X accuracy again in Gen 1. You'd have to sacrifice a move, though.
With X accuracy being so broken, no wonder it's the most expensive of the X items.
Yeah. And you realize that if you ever try to pull this off casually, and you want to just sweep through everything with Horn Drill, this is the first time in a run I haven't forgotten to do this until it was too late. I always have to come back.
Older routes would do what we're doing right now first, before going to in the storyline. The item on the right is a Carbos. Back before Manip, you, depending on your speed stat, you might have to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 of those along your way and use them to make up the speed that you were missing. But that's not a problem anymore.
I think Gen 1 is also the only game you'll see the Poke Flute actually used in battle if you need it. Later on in the Elite Four, you have a chance to get put to sleep. Right, this movement through here is actually like my worst section or segment. Because I always miss the A press right there, so I have to bounce myself up and down a few times. Oh wait, not here yet. And just like the hidden elixir in the underground path.
You're past it.
Oh, did I? I know about where it is, but I forget a lot. So I just kind of guess.
Yeah. I always count to the 7th set of flowers below the trainer.
7th set of flowers below. See, I tried to count by the flowers, but then I lost count one time, and it was pretty bad, because I didn't even remember where I was or what I was doing. So, I generally try to avoid it. I used to have it memorized, but this was a little while ago. Oh. Oh, I always do that. I think I go up to this. And now for my personal favorite, this is where you learn if your item management is good or not. And if you've been doing things right.
Yeah. Oh, you grabbed the max ether to make up for that one missing item. Right?
To repel first. Yeah, I did pick up the max ether. And I don't think I used up anything else. Or besides items you're intended to use. Nah, Nidoking is definitely the best Pokemon in the game, though. Yep, there it is. And now I know what it is, too. I forgot to teach Earthquake. And use the PP up. I just have to remember what I teach it over. I think Thrash. Yeah, it's Thrash.
Yeah.
I reset a lot, and I very rarely make it to runs this far in. There we go. Oh my god. Oh wait, that's where you dig.
you would think that the Safari Zone is a place that you could fly from.
Yeah, the gold tether is used to get strength. This is one of those biking areas where I just don't feel like it's faster to bike, but it tells me to bike, so I'll bike.
Also where I don't think it's faster.
And now we sweep with Earthquake.
Yep, as I said earlier, Stab Earthquake is a wonderful thing.
You know, that's a good question, White Cheddar. And I wish I could give you an answer, but I'm probably just gonna say the Pokemon programmers were lazy.
Well, I mean, it really shows on some of the battle code.
Yeah, it really does, you know. Accuracy check out, who needs that? Now I'm trying to think of a way to manage my HP here. Kind of in a tight spot. Yeah, Earthquake and Flamethrower are definitely very powerful moves in Gen 1.
Yeah, Surf and Thunderbolt are nice too.
I'm really trying to think of a way to get this to work. Confusion, disable. Ideally here I would die, but that's not.
Yeah, this fight is the reason we were talking about the HP management being a little bit weird even when we had really high HP.
Ideally you'll have like 75-ish HP, and then Weezing can kill you with self-destruct and kill himself, which ends the battle. But it doesn't seem it's gonna happen. And if I level up from it, I think I'm just going to use 2 candies instead of 3 and toss 1. They can also Gen 1 miss self-destruct and Earthquake. Yeah, I leveled up. I think I'm just gonna use 2 candies.
Yeah.
Because that'll put me back on track.
Yeah, that'll resynchronize your experience and you won't have to worry about leveling up at the wrong time.
I found a way to do it! I'm a genius. But yeah, you would die and revive yourself into red bar. Alright, and then after this...
Wait, actually, isn't there the candy that you would get and use in Mansion? Could have just skipped that one.
I don't think in...
More.
Oh, no, don't learn Surf. Oh my, I'm bad. Boot up the HM again. But no, there's this... You don't use a candy in Mansion last time, if I remember correctly. No, there's actually a funny little, I won't call it a glitch because it's not, but a bug you can do here, where it causes, it leads to like fighting Professor Oak later in the game. That involves not using a repel there. Thank you for messing up my step count. GameCube controller terrible. I don't remember every Pokemon he uses. I don't normally mess with glitches too much anymore. And when I do, it's just all about Pokemon any percent no save corruption. I don't do crazy glitches like that.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember about Oak's team is that it contains the starter that did not get picked.
Which means it's obviously coded in there intentionally. Impressive. Who wouldn't? Probably any sensible person wouldn't be walking around if they're 10 years old inside of a mansion, but hey, who am I to judge? Yeah, I'm assuming that incentive hasn't been met. Which is sad if it doesn't. It's a really cool run to watch. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to use this. Yeah, NSC is definitely a very interesting category that gets ignored a lot. It doesn't see a lot of publicity just because of how short of a category it is. Alright, now this is the gym leader rush battle we were talking about earlier. And this is also a chance to get put to sleep.
Yeah, older routes would have and use Ice Beam here. Ice Beam doesn't do as much damage as Blizzard does, but it is much more reliable.
Accuracy is a lot higher on it, so you don't have to worry about missing it too much. I think it's 95 or 100, isn't it?
Yeah, Ice Beam is 255 of 256 because it's Gen 1, but yeah. Full accuracy.
That is Wiggly Loo, for anybody who doesn't know. Whereas Blizzard has a 90% accuracy in Gen 1. And it's very unfortunate to miss. Jeez, come on. Fly to Saffron. Come on. I'm trying to remember here. I'm actually doing this in the wrong order. Which, I mean, I guess that's whatever. I don't think it matters too much. Although,
Are you
I don't
talking
know
about
if EQ kills... Because technically I was supposed to go to Cinnabar before this. For the experience there. But
Well,
I
I guess
think
we'll
I'm
see.
fine. Oh, that's because he's faster than you. Wow. So, we're back off the XP curve again. What?
Yeah,
How does
that
Squirtle
Alec
look
has...
He was faster than I was in Psybeamed.
What was that? Oh yeah. Is
That's why you
that
go...
is the main speed threshold for the pre-minute route. So it doesn't really surprise me too much that Burley ended up having in the Alakazam being faster.
Well, that taught me I need to go fight Blaine first. By trading. I'd assume by trading, or by passion and love, who knows. Let's go fight Blaine. Now I have extra experience for Blaine too, this is fantastic. I don't even know if we're gonna make underestimate now because of this. Like the 2 times I've died like that. I don't know what our time is at right now though, so I can't tell. $148.30. No, I don't think we're making it underestimate this time. I think we're going to be a bit over, like 5 to 10 minutes. It's pretty upsetting. I could be at the Elite Four right now if I didn't make a few mistakes. So now we just
Something
go
you'll
back on the
see
horn track train.
there is that Growlithe used agility twice during the setup.
Yeah, leaving me at perfect HP. Which is, you know,
Yeah.
not necessarily a good thing. Taking damage is actually somewhat ideal there.
Yeah, but Growlithe will not do that. The Blaine's AI, as well as other trainer classes that might have the what we call the good AI, they'll pick type a move that a super effective type against you to the exclusion of others. And since agility is considered psychic type,
He just spams agility the entire time.
yep. Yeah, there are a few first Pokemon that have the good AI whose first Pokemon moveset that causes that to happen. And well, that works out nicely for the that works out nicely for routing this because it means setup against them is completely free.
Like on the Lorelei fight in the Elite Four, you're guaranteed second turn rest on her pokes, which makes it extremely easy to set up on turn 2. Now you can always do what's called YOLO Lorelei and not swap your flyer and pray she misses Aurora Beam, or doesn't use Aurora Beam. But that's just ridiculous to assume. Alright, now we're about to take on the final gym after this. Which, if I were in Red Bar, would actually be a scary fight.
Yeah, the Karate King really means it when he says that your fate rests with him.
But my fate doesn't because I have full HP. I flew to the wrong city, which happens. That's the lag I'm talking about on the fly menu. Now, out of all these trainers in this gym, there are only 2 other than Giovanni himself who were required for you to fight.
Yep, one of them is completely routine to deal with, this one. The other one, the one after this, is the Karate King, who is significantly more dangerous than even Giovanni is.
Especially if you're in Red Bar. He's not too much of a threat if you're not, though. Which is why I'm just going straight into it instead of saving prior to. Namely, because I'm trying to cut down on a few seconds to see if I can't save this run. Because that never happens in a run right there. In a real run where you're actually a good bit ahead. So yeah, to make it so you only have to fight those 2 trainers, all you have to do is leave and re-enter the gym to reset everybody, and you have a clear shot straight to Giovanni. And Giovanni's a really simple fight as well. You don't even need any X items for him. Just stab Earthquake. And because of this, me being at full life right here, there's a major issue with the Elite Four. Or I wouldn't call it a major issue, per se, but there's an issue. It's going to be a lot slower than it normally is. Because normally you fight at least one of them with red bar, sometimes two. Although this means I won't have to save for a very, very long time.
Yeah, this also means that Yoldorelei isn't really.
Yeah, it's not really YOLO anything. At least I don't think so. I don't think Lorelei can kill you from full HP. Supposed to use a super repel in that menu. I don't remember the damage range on Aurora Beam, but I'm pretty sure full HP survives it. Because this fight's pretty simple too. You don't really take much damage.
Yep, and this fight is another example of the good AI not having good results for Gary.
Got the range on Pidgeot.
Nice.
I think that's the first time I've ever gotten that range. And we use the X accuracy and X speed. The X speed just to be faster than everything because it makes things a lot easier. And the X accuracy is literally, well, one to remove the potential of Gen 1 misses, and for the last poke. It's literally it, nothing else. Because we don't need drill for anything else, everything else is one-shot range.
I thought that you still needed the badge boost stack from the X speed for the Thunderbolt to one-shot the Gyarados.
With my experience, maybe not.
Well, yeah, there is that.
I'm not even sure in a normal route anymore.
Actually, that might explain the range that you hadn't gotten before.
Yeah, very well could. Uh-oh. The goal here is to not waste any super repel steps, because they're very, very... I need super repels for the rest of the game. Oh wait, I should be biking here. I'm just being silly. remember if I need another repel here or not. I don't think so.
Alright, here we have reached Victory Road, the one and only place in the game where we will be using strength.
That I forgot to teach already. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh, really? I want you to know I'm holding right the entire time.
Yeah, the GameCube D-pad is something. Also, nice swag boulder.
Thank you. I have to go for it, you know? It's a requirement in Victory Road to go for swag welder. Oh, by the path
Yeah,
for a second.
the reason that for swag boulder is that you have to push the boulder. You actually have to make contact with it twice, but you can turn on the second contact and as it normally would, but it uses the direction you're facing to generate the dust cloud behind it. Also, to the question about this being blue-colored and the Virtual Console version not, that's because the Virtual Console does not emulate Game Boy Color hardware for this game.
Fighting another optional because I want the extra experience, you know, going into the Elite Four. I want to make sure I'm strong enough. It's tactically efficient. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm really glad I don't really need Earthquake yet. Uh-oh. Oh, there. Oh, Thunder. Okay, that's silly.
Yeah, we've all hit the standards in Victory Road at least once.
Yeah, it has
especially that one.
Because you never remember where he is.
Yeah, it's way too easy to accidentally start cutting over.
Oh my god. This stupid GameCube controller is going to cost me my repel.
It hasn't resulted in any unrecoverable mispushes of the boulder.
Yeah, luckily, actually. Oh. Whee! I should be using a repel right here instead of
Yeah, somehow you ended up super repel.
I delayed the first super repel.
That would do it.
With the issues I've been having with this controller today, it's probably for the best.
Well, now we're finished with boulders.
Yep, no more boulder party, everybody. I apologize. I know it's everybody's favorite part of the run.
Yep, all we gotta do now is go beat the Elite Four.
While I have full HP and... Gotta buy a couple full restores. I'm actually just gonna buy a stupid amount because I feel like it. And Marathon Safety. Oh, that's Ultra Balls. Marathon Safety. Oh, I don't have enough. What a meme. Marathon Safety. All the full restores you can imagine. Right, so I can definitely live a full a hit, right? One hit?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure. We're gonna try it anyways. We should definitely live that. Yeah. We're definitely a bit overestimate, unfortunately. In fact, I think we just recently passed the 2-hour mark. So maybe if I play like a god and a YOLO Lance and Champion while in Red Bar, we can still bring this back and be on estimate.
Yeah, that might be a little tough since we're at 207.42 plus stream delay right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, definitely not. Well, that is all on me, too.
Yeah, this fight, Bruno is probably the least threatening of the Elite Four fights. There's very little that he can actually do that will significantly damage you.
Blizzard, I almost used Horn Drill there on accident, which would be bad. Because I need to not waste my Horn Drills now. Although I do have a max ether just in case. I guess. This will probably 215. I do actually kind of enjoy that Machamp sprite. I think it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good sprite. At least for Gen 1.
It wants me to full restore here, like I should. I really considered not, but I don't want to risk it. You know? Because there is a slight chance something stupid happens and you die here.
Yeah, there are
we don't use
innumerable
X
ways
accuracy here, we
that
just
these
use
last
special.
3 fights control you.
Oh, I'm confused. That's cool. Snap out of confusion. Nice. Nice. Miss.
Oh!
It's okay, we had the We had the Poke Flute, guys. I was also using the wrong move. Oh, great. Dude, Gengar, stop. Please. Hey, I'm gonna get red bar off this. Whatever. Go away, Gengar.
So many confusions, self-hits. Yeah, that's the Agatha fight. Everything
so
goes
dumb.
great or nothing does.
Yeah, it was so dumb. Now I have to heal before Lance. Let's not accidentally use Horn Drill. Without an X accuracy. On a ghost type. I hate Agatha so much right now. That was dumb. Earthquake wouldn't kill if I didn't use that X special either. He would live on like 15 or something stupid low. These doors actually take a few frames to open up. So if you press A instead of B to clear that last text box and you press A again too quickly, you actually keep talking to her indefinitely. Where's my elixirs? Whatever. Gonna do a little bit of reorganization here while I try to find my elixirs. Did I use my last one? No, okay.
Yeah.
And then I need to heal.
The NSC incentive, by the way.
What was that?
If you want the NSC to happen,
I mean, I do.
make sure you get that in.
So, this is the last fight, or no, you have 2 more fights in to, donate for the NSC incentive. I believe the goal was $75. If you get it done, it happens directly after this run does. Special. That hydro pump is why we heal. T-Bolt. The goal is $75. I'm not sure if we have anything to it now, but it's a really great run. It's really short. You won't miss too much. Like, it won't take too much of your time. Speed. I always end up with an extra X speed. Like I said, whatever. But yeah, if you want to see the NSC run, just go ahead and get donations in and try to meet that goal. It is my favorite category to run. And it's by far a lot shorter. And without that X speed that we used, Dragonite's faster than us and would probably kill us.
It may be the greatest of dragons in Gen 1, but it is times 4 weak to ice.
Yeah. And now this is the final battle. As you see, I didn't change any of my settings, I just saved the game. But automatically in Gen 1, battle animations turn on for the final battle, which is kind of annoying, in my opinion. Just use agility. Please. Wing attack, that's fine. Oh yes, look at this. You're kidding. Screw you, game.
Ooh.
Terrible. If that didn't crit there, we'd be in red bar for the entire fight.
Yeah, crit wing attacks can really...
Pidgeot's a jerk. It's either he's gonna use Sky Attack, and I'm gonna die, or he's gonna crit Wing Attack on the second turn. Okay, let's get the exact same start, but don't crit the second turn. And we'll be red bar for the entire fight. Okay, Wing Attack. Don't crit. Don't crit. Oh, he used Sky Attack. Cool. Horn Drill. Alright, red bar for the entire champion fight. Let's go. Alright, we're also coming up on time here. In about the next, what, like minute and a half?
Yeah.
Because the final cutscene is, or once you talk to the PC, it's 38 seconds or so.
Right.
You should have just yelled out a big old time for me. So
Will do. I'll scream it at the top of my lungs for you.
oh boy, wake up the neighbors.
Wake up the neighbors, wake up the kid. Get mad because I'm overestimate, because I'm dumb. I made a lot of silly mistakes.
It's all good.
It's not that high over, is it?
It's like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. If we were playing on a Japanese rule set, the timer would have already stopped though. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. We get to mash some more. Alright, we get to enjoy this amazing view of A. Yeah, I fixed my computer this morning like 45 minutes to an hour after my run ended. And Paris. Paris was the real MVP here, just so you guys know. Alright, and... time.
Sweet, got it. Got a 2:19:04.
Yuck, that's terrible. But that's Pokemon Blue, any percent glitchless. It went over. My bad on that. I made a few silly little mistakes here and there, and may or may not have ruined that for the time. But 2:19 is not too bad for a marathon.
It's all good, man. Don't sweat it.
And I'm assuming the NSC did not get met?
Fortunately not.
Ah. That would have been a great run to show you guys. 14 minutes is a really high estimate for that. I could probably do it in 12. As long as I don't get destroyed by RNG. Which, hey, maybe I'll just Gen 1 miss everything again. Well, I want to thank you guys for having me on here, and I want to wish all the other runners good luck, and I appreciate everybody for sticking around and watching this little crazy fest of a run.
For sure, man. Awesome. Thank you so much for running, and take care, man.
All right,
Thanks a
you
lot.
too.